Welcome to Manifest with Maria Therese. This is the podcast where we talk all things mindset, manifesting, and energetics. This is your little piece on the internet where you can start transforming your world from the inside out, because your internal world is a mirror to your external world. So if your external 3D reality right now is not where you want it to be, take a good look internally and you will find the answers. So let's dive deep into today's episode, where we are looking at the disease to please. And yes, it is a disease. We are looking at people pleasing and how people pleasing is negatively impacting your life. So let's start. People pleasing is ultimately you putting the needs of others before yourself and having really weak boundaries that people walk over them. And this actually happens so much. But the thing is, when you put others' needs before your own needs and you fill their cups before you fill your cup, you can't fully give to them. And then you resent helping them, supporting them, doing what you are doing for them, because you are exhausted, you are burnt out, you're in a state where you're not happy, and yet you're still saying yes to everybody else. And every time you say yes to everybody else, you're saying no to yourself. And the power of the subconscious mind, when you say no to your subconscious mind, it is seen as a negative. So I want you just to do something now for me. If you can, if you're driving, of course you can't. I want you to stand feet width apart, and I want you just to close your eyes and relax your body. This is called the sway test, and it's a muscle testing thing. And so I want you to say a truth about yourself. I am, say your name. Now notice if your body sways forward or back. Say another truth about yourself. I have however many siblings, maybe. Then say something untrue about yourself. Maybe you say, I don't know, whatever is not true about you, say it and notice where your body sways. Now say the word love. Notice how your body sways. Does it go forward or back? Say the word hate. Notice if it goes forward and back. Now have a go at this, because what you will notice is your body will always sway forward for a truth. It will always sway forward for the love, for the positive, but it will always sway back for the negative. And then you can start to use this to tune into your intuition, because you can ask it yes and no questions. And this comes from Part of the Emotional Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And his work is incredible. It's worth reading the book. It's absolutely fantastic. But what it highlights is that when you say yes to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is the programming underneath the surface that has you doing things on autopilot that you're not aware of. So 95% of what you do is on autopilot, and that's your subconscious mind. But your subconscious mind comes from your conditioning from childhood. So when you people please and you say yes to other people and you put them first, it goes back to childhood. Maybe as a child, every time you did something for somebody else, you got their love. So what you have learned, and you've been conditioned to learn as you grow up, that every time you do something for somebody else, they will love you, they will respect you. And that's what you want. You are craving for other people's love. And so because you're craving for other people's love, this is just one scenario, you say yes to people because you think, oh, if I please them, then they'll like me. But what if you didn't need that external validation? Because that's what it comes down to. You're saying yes because you want their external validation. You're saying yes because you want to help them, because in some way, whether unconscious or consciously, you want their love. So what if you didn't say yes all the time? And what if you said yes to yourself more? And yes, that is going to upset people at times, because if you've never set a boundary with people and then suddenly you start setting boundaries with people and you say, actually, I can't do this right now because I need time for me. Or actually, this weekend, I can't do this and I can't be there for you right now because I need time for me to do whatever it is you need to do, and you don't have to explain. That is going to upset people because they're used to you doing what they want you to do. And for some people, it is so hard that they never set these boundaries. And so if you are struggling to set boundaries, a couple of things that you could do is you could just say, when somebody asks you to do something, I'm not sure, I need to double check. And you're giving yourself that time to pause if you feel like in that moment you just cannot say no for whatever reason. But I would look into that and I would start questioning that. Why can't I say no? What am I worried about? What am I scared about? What fear is coming up for me here? Because people pleasing literally is a disease. Every time you put somebody else first and you don't put yourself first, and you say no to yourself, you are forgetting your needs, your health. And so if subconsciously you've always been putting other people first, that's your automatic response. That's what's going to happen. And so to change that, you cannot change that with your conscious mind, which governs 5% of what you do. You have to get into the subconscious mind to start reprogramming and to start changing things. And this is the power of things like hypnosis, meditation, of things like the emotional code is very powerful. Various different modalities that can be used to support in reprogramming the subconscious mind. Because you can say all the affirmations consciously, but they're not going to have an impact unless you start reprogramming underneath the surface. And so it is a disease to please because it will make you ill. It will make you ill if you put everyone first before yourself. So in this podcast today, I just wanted to briefly riff and talk on this because I think it's so important. And I know from my life, I have definitely been a people pleaser. I've been a people pleaser because I wanted people to like me. And in the last year and a bit, that has definitely started to change. And I have lost people in my life that have left, that do not like what I'm doing or do not like the way I'm doing things. And that is okay. It just is what it is. And there will be times in your life where people enter and people leave. And yes, at times it may be painful and it may hurt. But if you are putting yourself first and you're setting your boundaries, and these are your boundaries, and people are not willing to respect the boundaries, do you really want these people in your life? Because anyone that truly deeply loves you will respect your boundary and they will understand your boundary, even if they may not like it. So it's something to ponder, it's something to think about. Because even in like business, when I got into business, what I noticed in myself is that I was now having these different mentors and stuff, and I definitely had shiny object syndrome. So I jumped from course to course to course. And everything everyone said, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, because I wanted to please them. I was like, yeah, I want to do it the right way, because I want to be the good little girl and do it right, because that's what I've always done. And actually, by doing it right, I was ignoring me. I was ignoring my intuition. I was ignoring what I wanted. And hey, guess what? I did not, when I started my business, get the results I wanted because I was listening to everybody else but myself. And we were going to look at intuition in the next episode that's coming out because it's so powerfully important. But by putting other people first and going, yeah, I'm going to listen to your ideas because that is a form of people pleasing. I really want you to like me. So please like me. I will do what you say. It doesn't matter to them whether I do what they say or not. They've got their own lives. They've got their own business. They don't need me to people please them. And so that's just one example of how I've done it recently when I started my business. Going back to school. I always wanted to be part of the popular girls, the popular group. I don't know if anyone can resonate. And I was never going to be that because we was not me. Like, let's be honest, at school, the popular group are the mean girls, right? They are the mean girls that no one actually likes. But I just really wanted to be liked. I wanted people to like me. So I would do things for people for them to like me. And I know I'm not the only one here. And I know this is resonating with some people. And maybe it's not resonating with you and you've always set your boundaries and amazing. Great on you. For so many people, this is a really hard thing to do, and it is conditioning. It is conditioning from childhood as you ultimately go into teenage years and then adulthood. Because your subconscious mind, your conditioning between 0 to 7 years old, you're like a sponge and you are soaking everything in. And so as you soak everything in, if you have been conditioned that if you are a good little girl and you do what you're told, you get rewards and people like you, guess what's going to happen as you get older? And you're going to be unconsciously aware that you are even doing this. Now put that into a relationship format. You're going to do what other people want to make you happy. Is that going to make you happy? So this episode is to make you aware. First of all, aware, are you people pleasing? Do you feel like you're putting yourself first? And journal on these questions because this can bring some clarity. Now, remember, when you're journaling from your conscious mind, not your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind only governs 5%. So just notice what comes up. And this is where meditation can be really powerful. So you could journal, go into a meditation, and then re-journal and see what comes up. Because when you meditate, you go from beta to alpha to theta state. And in theta state, you are getting into your subconscious mind because you pass the logical brain and now you're into the programming underneath. So you are conscious in your subconscious, if that makes sense. Because when you are in a meditation, you can always come out. When you're in hypnosis, you can always come out. You can consciously come out of it, but you are getting deeper into that subconscious mind because that is where the programming lies. And that is where you need to start changing the conditioning to stop people pleasing. So journal on the question, am I people pleasing? The second question, do I put myself first or do I put others first? And how does that make me feel? And what could I change? What could I change from today? One action step. What could I change from today to begin to change that? Because maybe right now you don't feel confident to be like, no, I am not going to say no to people. Like you feel uncomfortable setting these really strong boundaries. So do it in baby steps. If you can get 1% better when you begin to set a boundary, 1% more each day, imagine where you will be in a year. And when you start setting boundaries and you start saying yes to yourself, that is a core part of manifesting. And manifesting is taking a thought and bringing it into reality. Because when you say yes to yourself and the subconscious mind hears you say yes, and you set your boundaries, you are looking out more for what you want and your desires and your dreams. And that's going to move you closer to where you want to be. So I'm going to love and leave you on this episode. It is something to ponder. It is something to think about because there seriously is a disease to please. The more you put others first, it will show up in your body because you are doing what you don't want to be doing. And so you may find that you have these physical ailments, and the physical ailments that you have in your body, you've been to the doctor and they can't find anything that's wrong. Maybe it's a stuck emotion. Maybe there's resentment that is stuck somewhere within your body because emotions are simply energy in motion. And maybe that's stuck somewhere within your body and you need to release that emotion. And you need to release that emotion. And one of the ways you can do that is to set these boundaries to support you in saying yes to you. Say yes to your subconscious. Say yes to what you want. And stop putting other people first all the time because that's not healthy. Of course, you want to support your family, your friends, whoever it is. But if you are not filling your cup, there is no way you're going to be able to fill their cup. So today is simply a self-awareness kind of episode to become aware of, are you people pleasing? Are you putting others first? Journal on the prompts. Maybe go into meditation. All meditation is close your eyes, put on 432HZ on like YouTube or Spotify. It's a deep healing vibration. Relax your body down, and you may hear noises in your mind. You may not be able to at first switch your thoughts off. That's okay. The more you do it, the easier it will get. Just allow yourself to release and to relax and see what comes up for you. If you're finding that super difficult, go for a walk in nature. See what comes up. Because the walk in nature is a very meditative state that you're getting into. With every foot that you place down, be really mindful and notice how your foot hits the ground. Notice the wind in your hair. Notice the sun on your skin, the trees, whatever it may be. And that's being mindful, and this mindfulness comes in. And then you can get yourself into that meditative state as you walk. Notice what comes up for you. Notice if thoughts come up. Notice if you can switch off. When you start to do that, you start to create self-awareness because that is the key to change, and that's going to support you with manifesting. That's going to start changing your internal reality because your internal is a reflection of your external. So I would love for you to share this episode with those that you know that maybe you think this is exactly what they need to hear. They need to create this self-awareness. They're constantly saying yes to others. Do share, do rate, do give me a message and let me know how you found it. My Instagram is popped in the blurb below, so give us a follow on Instagram for all things manifesting and mindset and energetics. And if you are growing and scaling your business, I focus a lot on the energetics involved within that element of the business side too. So until next time, so much love from me to you, and go and say yes to yourself, because the power of the word yes is beyond crazy.